G'day there, legends. Calvin's Captain's round 22. I tell you what, it's getting very close to the end of this thing, and with only a couple of weeks to go, fantasy finals heating up, here is your opportunity to nail a ripper captain. Now, the table's there. That's the top 10. That will not be changing. I thought what I'd do this week, I'm going to go through each game, talk about some players that I looked at, who I like, who I don't like, and we'll go from there. First game I look at, it's St Kilda and Brisbane Friday night. Great option for a vice captain. The best one there is going to be Jack Steele. Now, 92 last week. Do not worry about that. That was in Geelong against Geelong. Scale says, boom, boom, not a good option, and it proved to be the case. Now, that's the first time he's gone under 100 in his last 7. So coming back from that injury, he's been amazing. And last year against the Lions, he had a 138. He's a guy I'm actually looking to bring in this week. Jack Sinclair, you're not touching that. Hasn't gone over 100 his last 3. Brad Crouch, elite form. Number 1 in the competition with an average of 133 in his last 3. I'll tick that off as a VC. No problem. Lockie Neal, it's a no-go for old Cow here. He will be tagged by Windhager, who went to Guthrie last week, kept him under 90. Now, this is the thing. Neil's been pretty good. 117 and 102 in his last 2. He scored 127 against the Saints already this year. He was not tagged that day. Just be careful if you are doing him. The other one to look at here as well is Rowan Marshall. He should be pretty good here, you would think. Now, round 19, Jared Witts had 121 against Brisbane, who are the 5th hardest ruck to score against. With that said, he's number 3 on form, going at 130. Let's skip through a couple of others. McRae, we're not touching him. He has gone no good recently. However, his form on GWS is elite. 148 this year, 159 last year, and he goes for his 9th straight ton against the Giants. They're one of his favourite teams to score against. I'm not touching him though, and neither should you. Dunkley, one score over 120 in his last 12. It's a no for me. However, GWS, number 3 easiest for midfields in the last 5 weeks. He could pop up for a good one here at Marvel. I'm not going to talk the other ones. They are not good at all. But Whitfield and Himmelberg, expect big games for these guys. As we know, Bulldogs give up heaps to defenders. That was the case last week. Scale says it would be. Luke Ryan, 15 marks, 151. Jordan Clark, 111, 10 marks. Chapman, wow, 95, 11 marks. There's going to be marks all day for these guys in defence. I don't even mind a sneaky VC on Himmelberg for those pushing for hats and whatever else. And as we know, he had a massive score earlier this year. He took 11 marks last week. So the marks will be there. If they're there, he eats them up, as does Whitfield coming off 112, and he had 8 marks last week. Let's skip through a few of those because now we're into the Saturday 210 game, and that is where my vice-captain will sit with Rory Laird. Now, Laird against North Melbourne. If you bought Laird in, you are chasing this matchup. He returns home. His numbers against North are elite. 140, 90, 101, 115, 138, and now he's better than that. This is a guy who has 9 scores over 120 in a row. Seriously, it is nasty. Sydney last week against the Roos should have done better than that. So Parker was the best with a 115. 3 guys hit a ton. The week before that, though, that's the one I'm looking at here, and that was Essendon with 5 guys over 110. I really like Aaron Hall in this game as well, so he could be a trade target with a couple of weeks to go. The Crows give defenders the most points in the last 5 weeks, and that puts them equal with the Western Bulldogs. So there should be heaps going around for him as well. Took, we're not touching Took, not against Geelong. We saw what happened to Jack Steele last week. In fact, it's the only team in his career that he has never scored a ton against. He's played them 7 times. 88 last week, and that was with a tag. He should be okay, but geez, Geelong, he's never hit a ton against them. Yes, he's at home, but it's a pass for me. A couple of guys looked at there. Duncan hasn't hit a ton in his last 3. Pass on that. We've got Guthrie. No, he's not going that good at the moment. No tons in his last 4. Stewart, though, he'll be better than his 46. Don't worry about that. He had 91 last year when he played against them. Clayton Oliver, he's back, and this is the 7:25 game on the Saturday night. So this is where you probably have already exhausted your vice captain in Laird or one of the other blokes. Could be a Laird, could be a Himmelberg, and you are looking at a captain. Oliver is definitely that option. Colton are the third hardest to score against in the last... hardest in the last year. Get that right. Colton, third hardest in the last year. However, the wheels are falling off there, as we know. So I'm not worried about that. Last week, Brisbane. Neil 117, Bailey 108, McCluggage 105. Oliver coming off that 139, predicted by Cow here in a comeback game. His scores against Colton are elite, 110, 125, 116. He should be great. Petraka, my God. This is one of his worst teams. What a bloody surprise, with only 1 ton in a career 7 games against the Blues. Not touching him. Max, yep, you could if you got a vice-captain coming that late. Coming off his last 3 scores, 152, 87 and 133. He should be fantastic. Last year against the Blues, 105. And back in the COVID time, he had a 154. The thing is, the pit bull should be back. The last person to go against, well, we had big Oscar McInerney last week, 105. Before that was Riley O'Brien with a 62. That 62 was against Pitt. So maybe not. He scrapes into my top 10, but I'm not a big fan of it. Walsh could be a good option here. Just the fact that if Cripper is out and the other boys are too, filming this on a Tuesday night. Last few for him, 89. That 128 was handy a couple of weeks ago on 102. The guy I really like in this game, though, is Doherty. Remember? Melbourne, the number 1 easiest for defenders to score against this year. Melbourne give up the most uncontested marks. Enter Doherty. Last 3 this year, 101, 119, 109. Fine. Last year against Melbourne, 106. In the same time period here, 110, 152, 101, 108, 106. You get where I'm going here. He loves playing Melbourne. His last 6 scores have been elite. It could be even better for the way and the style in which Melbourne are playing at the moment. There are going to be marks galore. Expect him to go well. Another great vice-captain option. Brayshaw against the Eagles. Warnies, mate. I reckon he gets a little bit of Xavier O'Neill attention here. I don't think it bothers him. Round 3, he played against them with a 95. O'Neill didn't play. Last 2 for him, 109, 137. So you think that he would be okay. The Eagles in the last few weeks have given up a couple of good scores there. Laird with a 127, Took with 122. And then go back to a few weeks ago where Jack Steele 154 and Brad Crouch 147. I don't think he gets out like that. But geez, he has a ceiling and he could. I'm going to say he's your last VC option. Because now we're rolling into the Sunday games. You're not touching Tom Mitchell. You're not touching Jaden Short. You can touch Callum Mills. Why? Because he's got Collingwood and you guys know what Collingwood give up. Right. Melbourne last week had 5 tons against them with Oliver with that 139, Petraka 120. They are the number 1 easiest midfielder to score against in the last 5 weeks since the bye rounds. They give up plenty. Callum Mills in his last 5 this year, and this is why he will be my captain fallback option. 89. Okay, it is what it is. These are the ones you want. 116, 118, 132, 148. He's back at the SCG. Last year against Collingwood, he had 111, and he's better than that now. I think he goes off. And so does Luke Parker. Form of 115, 118, 114. Last year he had an 84 against them. Once again, it is Collingwood. They are bleeding points. He is a great option as well. Zach Merritt is your final chance of a captain to win yourself a final in the last game on the Sunday afternoon. And I hate to say it, I don't know where this one's going. Port Adelaide, second hardest team to score against this year. The wheels are falling off though. Zach has shown he's susceptible. Yep, that's close enough, Cal. With a tag, right? Coming off that 55. Port Adelaide haven't really been tagging. However, they've got a tagger in Willem Drew. If I was coaching, I'd go, hey, Drewy, Redner, go over there, stand with Zach, make his day hell. That's exactly what I'd be doing. However, they haven't. I think he could be doing it. Richmond last week against him had 4 tons. We're talking Port Adelaide here. With Cochin going with a 122, Prestia 104. Zach's been pretty good of late with that big score coming. We know about that. However, he had 55 last week with a tag. Before that, though, in the 5 games leading into that 55, he had an average of 136. What I'm saying is, it's the last game on a Sunday. You do not want to be sweating Zach Merritt bullets, right, leading in to what would be the final buzzer before fantasy finals ends. For me, it's a vice captain of lead rolled into a Callum Mills. Guys, we've got 1 more week to go. And if this is your do or die final, I recommend you do and you don't die. Good luck this week.
Now